What makes a game scary? What is it that scares you? So, I recently played a game called Stay Out of the House, and it got me thinking, why was this game scaring me so much? Was it the game's explicit nature, where behind every door could be the well-unwrapped gift of gore and guts? Was it the crazy leather-faced fiend who kept chasing me? Could it simply boil down to the fear of uncertainty? Or was it the fact that I felt trapped? Claustrophobia, the irrational fear of confined spaces. The reason as to why Outlast worked so well at terrorizing people back in 2013, whereas its next of kin, Outlast 2, paled in comparison. The reason why Resident Evil 7 scared me more than 8. Our innate fear of confined spaces is why games like Alien Isolation, Amnesia, PT, rest in peace, and many others work so well. Feel free to leave a comment down below on what scares you, by the way. I'd like to know. Also, subscribe. Don't worry, I'm not going to do the only 14% of people are subscribed thing. Oh wait. So, it all started with a night shift. You get dropped off, you speak to your coworker who is evidently lying on the and get to work.
Have a good date.
If my calculations are correct, I'll be rounding third base of 1 hour and 16.32 seconds.
Yeah, bro, have fun with your hand, bro. So, this man actually lying on the bro. This man lying on the I'd like to point out that even at the beginning of the game, you find yourself in an enclosed space. However, it's one we're all familiar with, a gas station. But it's this familiarity paired with the cramped aisles and packed shelves of a service station that make this introduction one of the best I've played in any horror game. Sure, the idea of portraying a seemingly comforting familiar scene with the addition of underlying dread is nothing new. However, it's simply done so well here. The long stretches of mundane silence, the van that pulls up to the window, not even stopping for gas. Is that the same vehicle, bro? Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Are you gonna get out of the car or what? Playing that old yee-ass music, bro. Hey, bro, buddy. 1960 cool. They want their music back. We in 2020. The unsettling customer that towers over you, occasionally looking over his shoulder as he browses through store shelves. Oh no. Is that a white man with a Jew fro? Nah. Oh, he's looking at me. Oh, yeah, I'll stare at you. I'm a freak. Yeah, I'm built like that. No, you're not gonna intimidate me. Not to mention the back door that was left open, having been locked minutes prior. God is great. Ah! And the thought of having to step outside to check the outdoor bathrooms after the fact. Oh. The door's open. The introduction to Stay Out of the House plays into not only the discomforting feeling of something that should be familiar and comfortable, only for it to feel strange and uneasy, but the feeling of being trapped. You feel trapped because you're at work. You feel trapped because you're stuck in the middle of nowhere, working at a gas station, off the highway, tucked away in an enclosed area dominated by thick woods. You can't leave because you're on the clock. You can't leave because there's nowhere to run. The very building that is filling you with anxiety, thoughts of someone potentially waiting for you in the back rooms, is your only safety, or so you thought. You remember that video with the little... Whoa! Oh, run! 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 Bless the Lord of my soul. Oh. Bless him. So what is it about being trapped that makes a video game so scary? Well, first of all, it's not just about being trapped, it's about feeling trapped. Outlast 2 was ultimately structured like the many halls and corridors of Mount Massive. However, the game being set primarily outside took away the claustrophobic, overpowering tension I felt in the first game. Again, there's something about feeling like you're trapped. An example of this can be found in Outlast 2's very own hallucinogenic dream sequences, where you find yourself within the confines of an empty school. not to mention the descent into the mines located in the latter half of the game, both examples having way more presence than the entirety of Outlast 2's outdoor segments. This trapped feeling is also why Resident Evil 2 Remake's Mr. X works so well and why Resident Evil 3 Remake's Nemesis didn't. We all know that Mr. X was excellent, from his introduction to the player with him lifting the helicopter to how he was designed to be unpredictable and random. It was all so perfect. He had presence and authority. Him not being limited to cutscenes or mindlessly scripted chase sequences, stab at Nemesis, is what made Mr. X so frightening. On one's first Virgin playthrough, Mr. X had no explanation, nor did he have a formal introduction. He was just thrown into your game. But even something as incredibly designed as Mr. X can fall short if not placed in the right environment. Mr. X's presence was exacerbated by the police station's tight walls and confined spaces. Knowing that you're trapped in that building adds to the uncertainty and the anxiety that the player experiences. Nemesis didn't work because RE3, just like Outlast 2, ditched what ironically made the previous games so great: claustrophobia. PT is quite literally just a walking sim that takes place within a single hallway, but it works so well. Why? Because there's nowhere to go, trapped in a ceaselessly looping hallway as a ghostly apparition haunts you, over and over and over again. There's no escape. You will never see what is outside of that long corridor. Soma, from the creators of Amnesia, also has a sense of claustrophobia that is strong. Not just because everything in the game was out to kill me, but because the game takes place in an abandoned underwater research complex that ends up being a claustrophobic nightmare. As the player, you slowly come to terms with the fact that there's nothing else in these abandoned facilities other than you and a host of tormented souls. I feel as though we failed to realize that our favorite horror games wouldn't scare us as much if they were placed in environments that were made to be open. Would Resident Evil 7, a game spent creeping through a dilapidated aging house, be as scary without its tight passages and dark corners? Would the taut, claustrophobic horror of Alien Isolation be as poignant if not for the tunnel-like design of the abandoned space station? A game that practically forces you to crawl around and hide in small spaces like ventilation shafts and lockers. Can anyone deny the elation we felt upon escaping the confined and sporadic underground complex in Half-Life 1 or Black Mesa? I remember reaching the bright, warm surface and embracing it. Somehow, despite only being a game, it felt like I was finally breathing fresh air. Honestly, I could sit here and list a plethora of games that instilled me with a sense of inescapable dread, a feeling of horror that I could not run from. Because I wasn't just trapped within the world beyond my computer screen, but trapped mentally. Claustrophobia is the irrational fear of confined spaces. Claustrophobia is a tool that has been used to make some of the most frightening titles that we have played in recent memory. Claustrophobia reinforces the fear that we feel in these games. And tight, confined spaces administer those feelings, those fears. The fear of losing control, the fear of being trapped. Utilizing claustrophobia as a weapon to be used against the player can make a game even more frightening and distressing than it may already be. I'm aware that games are scary because of other things. There are many factors at play behind the scenes that make games scary. But I recently played a game called Stay Out of the House, a game that overwhelmed me with feelings of anxiety, a threatening, suffocating feeling that felt inescapable. Claustrophobia makes games scary, and without it, horror games wouldn't be the same.